So pardon the lack of cable management because this is a work in progress, but this is where everything's going. So we've got a trio of MCA Gen 2 amps. I'm a display Anthem dealer in Connecticut, so we have MCA 325 Gen 2, pair of those, and then we have MCA 525 Gen 2. So between these three beautiful amps, we have dedicated power for all channels of the home theater, which is great. And once we finish terminating, we have two to go. Once we finish those, then we'll be able to connect the top ones for the front three. I have separate cables that go through the wall for my conduit piping access points here. And again, pardon the appearance of that. I'm gonna create a finished kind of faceplate for this and make it look much more presentable. One thing at a time though. And then once that's done, we can take the XLR cables that will be sent from here into our audio video processor, which is great. You could use RCA, but I would definitely recommend using XLR for the balanced signal. Less noise equals higher fidelity across the board. So yeah, this is great. So I'm gonna put this back on here and we can continue and wrap up with the rest of these too. All right, coming down to the final countdown. It's just really cool, honestly, like the entire journey of audio experience, guys. I can't even tell you how much of just unreal, what a blessing it is. I mean, initially, this was supposed to be just a system to enjoy for myself and my family. But after I started looking for the various components to fill my space, speakers and stuff like that, amps, whatever, I realized that there was a lot of stuff that I was really interested in that was just not in Connecticut, right? I mean, I had to drive to New York, I had to drive to New Jersey, I had to drive to New Hampshire, I had to drive to Massachusetts. I'm like, this is silly. Like, there's no reason that Connecticut shouldn't have representation for these audio products. And like, I shouldn't have to drive all this way. So the second thing was when I would visit some places, and again, I was visiting as a legitimate consumer. I was genuinely interested in purchasing products, and I was trying to find out what I liked, contrary to what a lot of people say online. Oh, well, you don't have to go there to determine whether or not you like the speaker. Well, that's not true at all. I can tell you without question, if I were to post demos of various speakers or audition components through YouTube, you will not get a sense of what that system or component can do through the compressed garbage that YouTube is. You just will not. There's too many variables. Most people are playing stuff out of their phone. I mean, the speaker on the iPhone doesn't have any fidelity at all. So you need to be in the room with these things. You just do. Kind of going back to what I was saying before. So there was a lot of stuff that I found that was not paired with synergistic components. For example, when I first heard Paradigm Persona, I heard it with certain amps. I'm not going to say who or what, but they were not the right amps for these speakers, I can tell you right now. And so I mistakenly discounted Persona as one of my options to go with for my system because of that experience. And I happened to be at a wedding out of state maybe 2 months later, and I visited audio therapy or AV therapy. I think it's audio video therapy in I think it's Nashville or something like that. Anyway, it's in New Hampshire, and I met with the owner over there. Just said, hey, I'm in town. Like, do you mind if I stop by and listen to some speakers? I'm in town for a wedding. He's like, yeah, sure, come down. So really nice guy, and he was a Paradigm dealer as well. He let me listen to the 3F. And again, 3F, like the entry floor standing model, right? I was absolutely blown away. I was blown away because the speaker, the presentation kept all of its good qualities. You know, the three-dimensional holographic soundstage that just blows out the walls and the ceiling of the room where you're listening. It totally got rid of just the deal-breakingly, degree of harshness and brightness, sibilance, call it whatever you want, that I heard in these speakers. And it was a turning point for me, because I'm like, holy crap, like I'm literally doing this wrong. Like I'm making decisions based upon things that I should not be doing. I had discounted these speakers because they were overly harsh and bright. And the problem was not the speaker at all. It was the pairing of this speaker with these amplifiers. It just was not, wasn't the right combination. And so, it just kind of, the combination between that and the fact that there was so many opportunities for products that were not represented in Connecticut, plus the opportunity that I saw with respect to bringing products together in a synergistic fashion. There's three things really. There's bringing products that were not previously available to Connecticut. That's one. The second thing was properly matching components. And again, I'm not saying I'm an expert, I know everything, but I did listen to a lot of stuff, and I did get exposure to a lot of different components, and that really showed me that it's so critical that you have the right pairing. And just because something does not sound good doesn't mean it's not a good product. It just means it might not be the best with what it's being utilized with. That's all. And then the third thing was that when I was at the dealers shopping, it was difficult, I'll say. It was difficult for me to get a sense of how the system would be in my particular space. And so I thought, hey, you know what? What if I was able to create a space where the goal was to kind of solve those problems or areas of opportunity, let's say, that I had encountered. That's why I decided to start Audio Experience, and honestly, it's been quite a journey. This thing started literally in December of that's when I opened my LLC, December of 2020. It's just crazy to think like what was just a thought back in like late fall, early winter of 2020 is now like a full-fledged business for me. It's just unbelievable how much things have progressed between now and then, and just how much time, extra time it's taken to just get everything together. It's really, it's just so much effort and time and love has gone into this. It's just crazy. And my hope is to be able to share that with you all. I mean, like I say, it's always about the experience. I mean, when you sit and you listen and you get that feeling of like, this is it, like whether it's an uncontrollable smile or like giggle that you have, or whether like you're moved to tears or close to it, or whether you think about that particular time in your life when you were impacted so greatly for whatever reason. I mean, music has its place, and it's often like a conduit. It's often like an associative aspect to how we genuinely feel about things, and it often like amplifies the way we feel about things. So like if we want to like relive certain memories, we often listen. How often do we like listen to the music that kind of brings us back to that moment, And so my goal with Audio Experience is honestly like to provide the means to accomplish that. And the means are multifaceted. It's not only of course it's the products, because you have to have the products, but it's the combination of the products with the passion for music in a way that's more relatable, I think, at least. And hopefully, you all would agree, in a way that's more relatable. So like when you make an appointment and you come and you listen, it's closer to what you would actually experience at your house. That's what I want for this. So if I've done my job, you will feel the memories through the music. And you work with Audio Experience and building your system. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.